Hi, welcome to my second post, and thank you so much for subscribing. I'm Pam Glenn, and welcome to you all. Feel free to check out my first post, which explains a little bit about my background, a little bit about who I am, as well as my goals for starting this YouTube channel. So as I explained in my initial post, I'm going to be focusing my whole big first set of posts on the topic of relationship abuse. As a certified nurse midwife, this is an area in which I've had extensive training. I have also provided over many years a multitude of trainings for healthcare teams on how they can effectively screen their patients for this important health topic. And I realized and have been encouraged by others that this is important information to share with all of you via the YouTube channel. So I appreciate all the positive feedback I got, the supportive words. That was awesome. Thank you so much. And I also received some constructive feedback, which I welcome. So here's what happened. As I was explaining that abuse can happen to anyone, no matter what group you might be in, I mentioned that abuse victims can be females, they may be male. Abuse can happen in the gay and lesbian relationships as well. However, I made the mistake of accidentally leaving out trans and gender nonconforming people, and for this I sincerely apologize. These posts are to be inclusive, and that's a huge priority for me. So to be clear, abuse can happen to people from all backgrounds, including those who are trans and gender nonconforming. So I've spent this past week pondering and making some edits. In fact, I've changed the title of my YouTube channel. It's now Truth and Heart Unfiltered, Conversations with Pam Glenn. I've also edited the write-up that's going to be included on every single post because I realize there's important information and resources for those who might need it, no matter which post they're listening to. So that will be new, and that is now going to be edited. Please feel free to give feedback on this write-up. I would really appreciate it. And speaking of feedback, please feel free to provide me with feedback on each specific post because that helps me and helps me to learn as well. I'm a true believer in that we all learn from each other. And specifically for those Gen Zers who may be listening, it'd be great to hear from you as well. And as you probably have figured out, I'm a boomer. I'm at the end of the boomers group. But if you as a Gen Zer see me being mid, which yes is a term I learned from my daughter, please let me know. I would appreciate that if you have terms or concepts or ideas or thoughts that you would like to share with me to help me understand some things better, that would be awesome. So please do so. So back to my edits. I've added important hotline numbers for those who are listening to my posts who may need assistance. I've also added a specific section called What This Is and What This Is Not. So let me review that with you because I think it's important to set those parameters. So what this is a place for me to share important information so that you can make healthy decisions for your life. This is a place for you to look at various life situations with new eyes. And this is a place for you to learn about resources available if needed. Now let's talk about what this is not. This is not a therapy session. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a marriage counselor. Of course, if you need these services, I encourage you to seek them out. This is not a place for you to reach out with dangerous, urgent, or emergency situations. And if you're in a situation like that, please go to the hotline numbers that I'm including on every post. There are advocates there 24/7 who can help you, or if it's an emergency situation, you call 911. So let's talk also about what else this is not. This is not about me telling you what to do, but rather having you feel empowered. I hopefully will empower you to learn, to be introspective, and then to make healthy choices for your own lives. And last but not least, I do want to clarify, I am not an official domestic violence and abuse advocate or human trafficking advocate. Now, having said that, I'm a strong advocate for you really understanding this information on a deeper level. I think we all have a certain knowledge base about some of these topics, but hopefully you see this topic with new eyes. And I'm there to be your advocate so that you have the information you need to, again, seek out your resources, get the help you need, but also make healthy decisions for your own life. And an advocate at each of these hotline numbers can also be of immense help to you. So I encourage you to reach out if you find that would be helpful. Now, for those who've had a history of trauma, I do want to point out that the content I'm talking about, the content I'll be discussing, involves trauma. And this may be triggering for some of you. And if that's the case, please feel free to stop listening. Take care of yourself, most importantly, and do whatever healthy thing you need to do in caring for yourself if you've been triggered. So please note that. I want you to take really good care of yourself. So my next post is going to focus on stereotypes of abuse. So we're going to start to get into the nitty-gritty, and each post is going to get much more detailed. But let's start with the stereotypes that we might hold in our brains about this topic, about the people who are in these situations. The problem with stereotypes, it's like having the blinders on, and it keeps us from seeing that maybe somebody really close to us, or maybe somebody just sitting across from us who we know may be in an abusive situation, and we don't even see it because of the stereotypes we might hold in our brains about this issue. So that'll be our next topic. I look forward to seeing you for post number 3. And in the meantime, and one more thing, please consider sharing these posts with others, because you never know how they may be positively and significantly impacted by this information. Take care, and I'll see you at post number 3. Bye-bye.